This is Channel Attitude. Your voice, your right, your freedom.
Jimmy! Ricky! You! Smack Attack!
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smack Attack. I am your host, Jimmy T. That is my co-host, R to the B to the V, and we are live on HMG Media Group's YouTube channel and on the Twitch, and of course on channelattitude.com after the fact. Rick, welcome back to your show. And are you pumped? It's WrestleMania weekend. We're finally here. We finally arrived for WrestleMania 41, night one, that is. Rick, are you pumped? Or what?
Jimmy T, brother. Jimmy. Oh, boy.
Oh, shit.
Hey, I don't know what's sweeter, man. We got that sweet bluey kickoff or the BWO theme that get us moving and grooving here. But you are right. It is time to yeet into night one, day one of WrestleMania. And we're kicking it off here with the HMG. But what better way to do it? The bluey brand review, the Smack Attack, baby. It's good to be back with you.
Absolutely, man. It's great to have you back. And I just wanted to say, Gruss, thank you for joining us. And he says, happy WrestleMania weekend. Well, yeah, man. Happy WrestleMania weekend to you also. Rick, it's been a long last couple of days, to be fair, in the world of professional wrestling. Dude, I watched the Hall of Fame last night. And no shit, that shit ended when it started getting late, even here. Funny enough, I'm like, when is the show going to end? And to my surprise, it went for 5 long hours. But I will say this, Triple H's speech, and even Shawn Michaels' speech about Triple H, was one of the best Hall of Fame speeches I've actually seen, probably in the history of all of the WWE Hall of Fame.
Wow.
It was that good.
Some big praise, and we've got on our run for this morning Smack Attack to take a look back at those big moments from the Hall of Fame, what it meant to those that were being inducted, to those their family and friends that were there, to the fans around the world, and us personally. We're going to deep dive into that. We're going to take a look at especially night one, dip our toe into night two, talk about party plans. We want a lot of interaction today. From the chat over there. We got Bruce already with us. Hey, everybody with us, man. Hit a copy on the link. Share to your socials. Let them know you're there. Scotty Woodford taking time.
God
He's
damn.
out in Vegas, baby. He's out in Vegas. Let's see. 8:30 in the morning, and it's already wheels to the ground out there for Scotty, man. I want to if he can chime in, let us know his plans for the day. Some great pictures that he's been showing on social media. You can see a bunch of those over at the HMG Media Group on Facebook. Kind of lived through his experience. And thanks for sharing all that, Scotty, man. It looks pretty badass out there.
Absolutely, Scotty. And the fact that you've spent how much money already in Vegas and he still gives us a super sticker, dude, we're very, very grateful. So thank you. And if
the rest of you bums can come off of it here a little bit. Scotty Woodford, he's out there dropping them dimes, meeting some big people in that Karrion Kross last night. Hopefully you name dropped how me in there, man. But meeting some other great people. One of my favorite pictures is him and Gable.
I saw that, yeah.
It was cool with Gable. Maybe the only one better he could have got than that was Americano, but
dude, I'm still tripping on last night when he showed me Bianca Belair what looked like, I swear, man, it looked like she was stripping. I know she wasn't, but God damn it, it kind of looked like that. I'm not going to lie. And Scotty, I don't know what you're doing right now, man, but if you want to like talk about something, he's going to come on WrestleMania to talk about his experience, of course, in the WrestleMania review show that we're going to do later on. He's going to jump on and actually talk about what he's done.
So looking forward to have Scotty later on this evening talking about some WrestleMania stuff here over the next couple days. As you said there, Jim, I guess we could take a moment to plug some things that we got going on. Of course, right now, live here on the HMG channel, you got Jimmy T and RBV coming up, I know 100% certain later this evening. Let's Go Brandon is gonna be at it, watching, doing the live watch along. Then immediately following, Jimmy T, you're going to be leading a panel for a quick review of what we've seen over night one. You're going to be up and at it again. A lot of Jimmy T coming at you this weekend. Yes, we are excited for WWE WrestleMania, but you guys have got a job to do, so it's covering the wreckage tomorrow morning. And, of course, another watch along and another review for WrestleMania Sunday coming up.
I just want to quickly point out our very own JB in the house. He thinks I'm wearing a Detroit Pistons shirt with a Bulls hat. You think I'm that crazy? Dude, first of all, it's an All-Star jersey, the Eastern All-Star shirt from Phoenix back in the day, actually. FYI, JB, it's not a Detroit jersey, but I know why you'd get confused.
Better shot of that, man, because I want to see it. It's an old Suns jersey?
No, the All-Star jersey.
Oh, okay. So that's when they were representing. It was the Phoenix All-Star game.
Yeah, exactly. But he's back, like I'm talking about 20 years ago, dude. He's a Penny Hardaway jersey, first of all.
Nice. JB, though, hey, man, if you got any tips for us over there in the chat, man, maybe some bets for WrestleMania this weekend. We've got the NBA. We've got the NHL coming at you this weekend, JB. If you got any surefire locks, shoot them to us. We'll share them here during the chat this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, man, I've told you, he was supposed to be on the Smack Attack a long time ago, but, you know, he's a busy man, that JB. He's hard to get on, but if you want to join us whenever, man, feel free. Oh, he called you, he says you're looking good, but, you know, apparently.
Cuck, yeah.
You said it. Oh, man. Anyway.
All right, we got the chat is filling up, guys. Do us a favor, man.
Yes, absolutely. I want to actually
copy that link, share it to your socials. We're going to be here for the next, 60, 70, 80, 90 minutes, getting you ready, getting hyped for WrestleMania. I got to tell you, Jimmy, man, looking at my socials here, scrolling through Facebook, going through a few of the groups that I follow, looking at the Twix, man, people are excited. They're buzzing. As you said, it has been already a big day and a half. People just getting prepped. If they're out there in Vegas, all around the world, just wanting to talk about all things WrestleMania. This is the coming together. Our World Series, our Super Bowl, our Olympics, World Cup, Christmas, all that rolled up into one. It truly is, man. It is a magnificent time to be a wrestling fan this time of year.
Oh, no doubt about it, man. And, you know, say what you will about WrestleMania and the build. When it does arrive, though, there's a special feeling that all of us get, you know, when we finally made it to WrestleMania. The build has been weird, and that's verbatim according to Triple H. I'm just saying.
I think it is. You know, we had a great conversation. We talked about getting things going. If you can go back, it is going to be free throughout the weekend. A lot of things that aren't so time sensitive that you can listen to there. Go back and look and listen to the Friday Locker Room MSG hosting a roundtable with myself, Jimmy T, and Pierce Austin. But Jimmy, it seems like this. We are here. It is WrestleMania weekend. We are hours away from night one of the spectacle of spectacles. Hell, we're an hour or two away from NXT getting it going with Stand and Deliver. No matter what the build, each and every year, if we're for it, if we're against it, none of that seems to matter when we get to this point.
100% agree with you, and it's true. I feel that way. There's a special feeling in the air, Rick. I can't explain it, and I'm pretty pumped now that we're here, even though we did criticize it, you know, yesterday on the Friday Locker Room. And you know, but it's true. It has been a pretty lackluster, or maybe shall we say inconsistent build, because at times there's some weeks where it seems like they're going to build really good and well, but then they just fall off for a couple of weeks, and then they do it again, and then they fall off.
I do, and I do understand you had the extended few weeks here. As Triple H, he was trying to make, give us some, looking for playing that sympathy card here. Well, they made the schedule themselves. They knew this was coming.
Exactly.
Hopefully, if they would find themselves in a position like this again, that they have taken a lot of notes, that they have learned from this experience, so we don't see a lull potentially like this again.
Yeah, well, let's hope not, man. But look, I'm not trying to give him an excuse. But to be fair, they did have a long time to build to Mania, to be fair. But again, that's no excuse. I'm not trying to give them a cop-out. They know their schedule, as you said. And, if they really wanted to, do things better, then make things tighter next time with your schedules. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having such a long sort of...
or I'd say maybe invest... we got some of the... I think what kind of hurt it, what prolonged it when we're talking about early on in the build here, is it took quite a while to start announcing these matches. So give us some of the undercard earlier and start really developing those stories, in line with your main events. I think that's really, looking back at it, where they fell short.
No, I agree with you. And before we move on, I just want to welcome the former Comment King in the house. Todd, you're still the Comment King. Sorry we didn't address what you said last time. I wasn't in control, but I'm glad you're back, because don't disappear on us, dude. It's WrestleMania weekend. You're still the Comment King. Don't give it to Zane, whatever you do, because then I'll never stop hearing it, just so you know. And also... as
opposed to you, Jimmy, who is the Condiment King. Ruining your steaks with his ketchups and his A1s and his barbecue sauces. But that was
come on, man.
For last week. Hey, while we're on the subject, before we jump into our hot topics for this week's Smack Attack, let's talk a little bit. We talked about the excitement, the thrill of the weekend, the coming together, the brothers and the sisters of everyone that loves professional wrestling. What are your party plans for the weekend? What are you chowing down on? What are you sipping on? What are you smoking on? What do you got going on?
What am I smoking on?
While you're enjoying all the festivities.
Well, like Chris Williams says in the chat, Snack Attack, baby. Well, to be honest, because it's on during the day for me, I'm not sure what I'm going to chow down on yet. It's going to be some sort of lunch, obviously. I'm assuming Mania will not go for 5 hours. It won't be a 10-hour extravaganza. Hopefully, it won't be.
If we look here, let me look here, get the remote. Our friends at the Cock, they do have it listed. Mania itself for 9 hours each day. That's a lot.
Whoa.
That's just the content that they're bringing us. That's not the main show. They've got a lot of the pre-show stuff, the hype packages. Hey, it's the same thing for any big event that you see. When you have the Olympics, they run all day coverage beyond going into the events. For the Super Bowl, they start, here in the States, they start running that at 8, 9 in the morning for a kickoff at 6 p.m. It is to get everyone caught up on everything that's going on, to get you excited so you can feel that energy. And if you're out spending it like a sporting holiday with your friends, it's some good background noise as you're conversating with yourself.
Oh, absolutely, man. You know what? Maybe I'll have a barbecue.
Margarita ribs. And red beans today, baby.
Orale, margarita ribs.
That's a hell of a triple threat right there. I don't know what hashtag RBV Eats Out's going to be doing for night one. Going to order something delicious in. But, of course, we're celebrating Easter on day 2.
Oh, yeah. You know what, dude? I totally forgot about it because of WrestleMania, which is odd already. So happy Easter, because it is Easter Saturday for me. You guys obviously, Easter Sunday, sorry. It's Easter Saturday for you. I still consider this Saturday because it's Saturday night for me right now, technically. So, you know what I mean? But, yeah, happy Easter to everybody that celebrates it, man. It's funny because WrestleMania has totally made me forget that it's Easter. No shit. Who would have thought?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the night 2 with the family dinner. So as I sit down here, and watching WrestleMania night 2, it's going to be fried chicken and ribs for RBV Eats Out. So I'm looking forward to that one. JB, drop it in, leave us out there on the Hall of Fame. We are going to talk about the Hall of Fame here shortly, but giving some props there. Trips and Michelle McCool were awesome.
Oh, I just want to point out that The Undertaker, or Mark Calloway, should I say, he's a funny guy, and I don't know, man, he was all over the place, but he called himself a Mark.
He is the Mark.
Yeah, well, yeah, he said he's a Mark, but he's the Mark. But I'm thinking, I'm just looking at him like, what the hell are you talking, Taker? Jesus Christ. Anyway, to say a lot of guys were drunk is an understatement. There's a lot of embarrassing moments on that show, but we'll get to it when we do. And we'll talk about towards the end of the show.
Well, I know we wanted to get some things going there. There is a lot, that fans are buzzing on, that are talking about surrounding WrestleMania. But some of the hottest topics that we've seen have come from WWE, with a handful of their personalities hitting press row, and some of the statements that have been made, some of the conversations that have been had, man, they have got quite a bit of fans in an uproar. Now, when I say fans here, Jimmy, I'm speaking of, I guess let me pause and select my words here properly. I was thinking about coming in here hot and just absolutely going after this group of fans. But you know what? I want to be a little above that. You don't have to show it yet. Not yet.
Oh, no, this is a preview.
Right. So yeah, I want it to be a little above that, be a little more articulate and intelligent in the responses and debunking some of these just, I don't know, over the top, misconstrued, overexposed, misunderstood perceptions from some of the statements that we've seen from the WWE personalities. So, all right, so Jimmy, you kind of flashed it there. We're going to run through these that have so many of, let's call them the woke, the liberal, the left,
the far left,
far left leaning professional wrestling fans.
Oh shit!
So
I'm looking forward to this.
We've got a bullet point of them here. Jimmy's going to flash this. We're going to read them up. You can pull them after I read one, and we'll come back to it here. So let's start with this one right off the top. John Cena. The people are upset here. John Cena is showing some love and support for Vince McMahon. You can go ahead and drop that here while we talk about it. Pretty much what happened here is John Cena. Go ahead and drop that.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. All right.
I think it's a quick button. So, John Cena, right? So he pretty much comes out and he says, and this really isn't a new statement. He has made similar statements in the past, a year or so ago. I thought they were just rehashing this thing, but he had talked about that, yes, there is a lot out there in the media, in the press. There is a court battle currently going on. A lot of information out there, a lot being said about Vince McMahon, but John Cena, in his heart, Vince McMahon has done a lot for him, personally, professionally, is his friend, is a father figure, and yes, he does have love for him and will support him in any way that he can through these times. Now, immediately, Cena's catching a lot of backlash on this thing. Now, I want to ask you something here, Jimmy T. What is so wrong? I mean, this is support. And Cena said in there, he might not have made the best decisions and all that, but he is still going to be there as someone that sees him as a family member to support him.
And you know what, Rick? Say what you want about Vincent Kennedy McMahon, but I can understand why he would say shit like that, to be fair. I mean, I'm not going to hate on him. Look, let me just say one thing quickly. All these so-called lefty fans or AEW sickos, because let's be honest, AEW leans towards the left and WWE very much leans towards the right. It's pretty much like that in professional wrestling, oddly enough. But it's those same fans that complain over and over and over again. But yet, on the Hall of Fame, guess what? Triple H brought up Vince McMahon. And he said he loved him. He said that he's the grandfather to my kids.
They are separated. I mean, for him, he is family, and I'm glad.
Exactly.
I love that you brought that point up there, because in many ways, these individuals, Triple H, absolutely connected his family. Is the grandfather? It's the grandpa of his children.
Absolutely.
Cena, looks at him as a father figure. We've heard so many of those that have worked long term for WWE. share that same sentiment. Keyword there, as you mentioned, though, is family. And I think we all have had, maybe we are that one in our families or close circle of friends that have made some mistakes, that have caught some heat somewhere. But
Absolutely.
yes, we've always had that continued support there. And I'll commend Cena for going out there and saying, hey, man, this is a difficult time. I stand with this dude. We're okay there. Let's go to the next one.
And like I said, man, I just want to point out, as he should, man, I understand totally. He shouldn't get heat. And one more thing, the fans all cheered for Vince at the Hall of Fame. I'm just letting you know that. So it's not all hate completely. Jesus.
Roman Reigns supporting Trump. Okay, but that is a fair enough statement inside of itself, because in an interview, Roman asked who he voted for, gave a very clean-cut answer. We had two options, and Roman believes that he went with the one that thought was going to do what is best for America. Okay, and he laid it out there with Trump. He's a wheeler and dealer. He's played the big games, if it be entertainment, if it be business, if it be politics. Again, we had two options. We had two options, and Roman believed one was actually giving us evidence, and the other one was running in circles trying to answer questions. Now, somehow, everybody, I love that we got Dave March now believes that Roman has just full-heartedly just bought in and lives and breathes the mega movement. But no, and that's not what he said in any case. He said he doesn't agree with everything that this administration is doing, but he believed it was the best option. And again, another major freak-out moment for our very, very left-leaning IWC friends.
Oh, no, and they got it again. Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, you go ahead, or you show the next one there, man.
Oh, no, I just wanted to quickly point out again, everyone, if you've been sitting in a cave somewhere around the world and you don't know that WWE support Trump, as Cold Blooded said in the chat, where you be, pal? Jesus.
And it's just not WWE, it's major corporations, because guess
what?
They like saving money.
What's wrong with people? Anyway, let's go to the next little tidbit, shall we, Rick? And go ahead.
I really like this one. This one really popped me here. And these next two kind of play together. So we'll put those. Nick Khan, the Khan of pro wrestling, going after AEW. Okay, we'll hold our breath on that one. Calling WWE underdogs and claiming they don't bench anyone. This next one plays into that because the Street Profits were doing the rounds. They were asked about not being a part of the actual WrestleMania card, as they were a highlight on last night's SmackDown. The Street Profits, they did say, hey, sometimes you got to be team players. You're not going to get the call. You got to do the best with what you're dealt. It put it up there again because there was something at the end. Khan said that they don't bench people, and this is somehow saying that the Street Profits got benched. Okay, you can drop it off here. So let's talk about these. So first and foremost, when asked about signing talents from other companies, AEW was of note because, let's say, they are the number two. They are the closest in professional wrestling to WWE. Nick Khan simply said, yeah, they're going to evaluate all talent. If it makes sense, they will be signed to the company, but they're not going to stockpile and sign people just to sign them and sit at home and do nothing. That's what benched meant.
You're killing it, bro.
So in any way, with the Street Profits being highlighted on SmackDown, how the hell is that being benched?
You tell me, Rick. I was laughing because, like you just said, I believe I watched SmackDown and I actually saw the Street Profits. So, I mean, apparently them getting benched, I don't know what they're watching or even reading.
Now, the Street Profits, yes, they probably are just very disappointed right now. Everybody in the company right now, the performers, they want to be able to shine at WrestleMania, have that opportunity. Fortunately, there's only so many spots Yeah, we can argue till we're blue in the face, no pun intended, about if they deserved one of those other spots on the card. But that's not our decision to make. Someone has to make that tough decision. But they did rely on the Street Profits. They are looking at them to help carry, to lift up going forward the SmackDown Tag Division. The Friday Night SmackDown now, to me, has really become like the pre-show. They really kick things off for the weekend. Have some big matches there to get people excited. You had the Tag Team Championship match. We had some storylines going forward for them. We had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. We had a women's championship match last night. Those are great ways. Those are big match feels to try to get that energy up and moving for the weekend.
But rest is a bench, though, Rick.
Yeah. So
I'm just saying.
So, and again, Khan saying that benching people it means paying them unnecessary money just to have them on the roster to keep them sitting at home. The other part of that one, claiming that WWE is underdogs.
Oh, that is brilliant, dude.
I love it. I
love it too.
Here. And what I really like about it, when you've seen the internet community absolutely freak out about this, it just shows how narrow-sided they are, stuck inside of the bubble. The point that Khan was making wasn't about AEW, having some major advantage about them being underdogs in professional wrestling. WWE is looking at bigger picture here. Bigger picture.
The bigger picture.
Khan was comparing them to other sports and other forms of entertainment, and for decades, since the WrestleMania era and beyond that, yes, professional wrestling has been looked at as kind of the redheaded stepchild of those.
Always has been. Yeah, and I just want to point out also, you think he's an idiot. Nick Khan is one of the smartest guys on the planet as far as business goes. And in my opinion, he is the Khan of Khans, literally. But you know what I'm saying?
Did you get to see the WrestleMania 9 documentary?
Yes, I loved it, man, by the way. That was a brilliant documentary.
They caught a photo of him in there. He was working security.
Right, that was crazy.
And now, all these decades here later, he's at the top. He is the true final boss. He's the one running the show, making this happen, that has elevated WWE. But again, he is correct in what he is saying. When you look at the major sports leagues in this country, when you look at the different entertainment from TV to film to music, whatever the different media outlets might be, wrestling has always kind of been that redheaded stepchild. Hey, it produces on television, it produces at the gate, it produces merchandise, it produces hype, but it's still laughed at. And that was the point that Khan was making.
And also, I want to point out, when he said they're the underdogs also, don't get it twisted. He knew the sickos were going to go up in uproar. But guess what? They're talking about WWE and him instead of their own silly, wacky, AEW. And I'm just being sarcastic when I say that. But, he got attention because they take shit serious. Clearly, he knows they're not the underdogs. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? In terms of company size. Right.
And you read and listen to anything like that. When you're in a spot like that, you create those obstacles. You create competition because it drives you. It makes you better. It's dominant. You're representing it right there, baby. That fine looking hat on your head. Michael Jordan, them. Hey, he approached everything. It was the Bulls versus the world. That everybody was out to get them. That they were the underdog back in the 90s when they dominated. I got news for you. You didn't get that mindset. If you're not that hungry for that competition to use that to fuel you, then whatever your business is, get the hell out of it.
Exactly. And I got Jordan right up there. You can't see it, but he's there. All right, and before we do, I just want to say to Grus in the chat, yes, Shad Khan is the real Khan, and Nick Khan did actually praise Shad Khan, but not TK, just quietly. So I just wanted to point that out. But here's more to it. Please, go ahead, Rick.
Here we go. Triple H getting quite a bit of heat this week. We talked about a little bit of that yesterday on the Friday locker room. But Triple H calling Trump charismatic, genius.
Oh, God.
Saying that Jay isn't a good wrestler, blaming NXT call-ups for their failures and telling fans not to be critics. There's a lot to dissect there, Jimmy. Any of those, I'll let you take this one first. Any of those you want to jump in on?
Well, as I said yesterday on the Friday Locker Room,
You
which you can check out.
So they can see our beautiful faces while we're
Oh,
talking.
no, I was getting to it. But anyway, yeah, I did mention this, and I said, Paul, Hunter, Triple H, whatever you want to call him, stop talking shit. Because as much as I love Triple H, and I really do, he sounds like a walking, talking contradiction when he says stuff like that. Because you're saying, no, we don't care about social media, we don't look at it, yet you're looking at it. You know what I mean? And you're responding to what you saw online, but you say you don't care. That's a bit of a walking, talking contradiction, Rick.
Hold on a minute here, and I think you're looking at it at a different perspective, because this is, we're looking at how his statements have upset some people here. I would tend to, the only one I took offense with of his statements that took real offense with was him going after the veterans and the legends for podcasting and exposing the business.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He exposed the business on Netflix.
I know we're not talking about that though.
Right, but I'm just saying
about why it upsets these fans here. That's got you upset. But inside of this, they're upset again all right. So the one, listening to the fans. Any market research is good research, but what you do with that information is so vital to your success. So yes, for him to say we're not listening to anyone, that's an exaggeration inside of itself. But I think what he really means in that is they're not directing their business. It is not an end-all, be-all to what the online market is saying. One of the old rules of thumb inside of the bar business that I came from, we don't advertise, we don't cater our strategies to alcoholics. They're already built in. We don't need to over appeal to them because they're already going to be there for us. So
it's a fact, though.
That's inside of itself. And you have a very fickle audience out here. The ones that are upset, that are so upset that he said this statement along with a few others, they're oversensitized. They want that immediate gratification. They won't let anything play out. So yeah, they are a very strange group to listen to. The most important one you're going to be listening to is the asses that are coming through your gate, sitting down in your seats, that are buying your merch. Those are important. Your other major ear where those are going are for those that are investing in your company. One, well, we did have stockholders. We don't have those so much anymore, but your advertisers, the venues, the networks, those are who you are listening to over a very small, not really able to understand, grasp the business, never worked in it in any manner, vocal fan base there. To the Trump things here. Again, not an over amount of praise. He just stated some things that he believed in there. Called him charismatic. He's not. President Trump is not charismatic. He's won 2 seats in office, the highest office in the United States. He does have a little bit of charm. Like it or not, the mega movement is very real. Many ways, very genius. Yes, in being a genius, when you look at those personality profiles, it's not that far of a stretch of imagination to also see that they have tendencies of psychopaths. That's okay.
Well, that is okay.
When you look at those personality traits, there's studies done on this. Yes, being a genius.
Absolutely, man. And Zane Vicious. No, it's not the end or the start of the show. Here? Yeah. Don't worry. It's done on purpose. Anyway. What was I going to say? And yes, I am doing a WrestleMania post show after WrestleMania Night 1, of course, later on tonight. Anyway, what's next? Rick, let's see. Go for it.
What? Why? I mean, where do we have all that coming from? Or is that me?
No, it's me. It's me. Don't worry. Yeah.
No, it's me. It was me. I had my YouTube up in the background, and Stand and Deliver pre-show came on.
Oh, okay. I can't hear that.
I heard a voiceover. So that was in my headset. So sticking with the McMahon family here, Stephanie stating in her thing on her upcoming podcast your story. Said one of the number one rules for her new show, is she was talking with Dana, right, is no douchebags. No douchebag guests, no douchebags working on the show, no douchebags anywhere to be involved. That was the original rule. Kind of joking fashion, Dana White believed that she should have douchebags, saying that douchebags are an unfortunate part of life. We got to interview some douchebags. Unfortunately, there's no getting around douchebag. Jimmy, what am I wrong here? When did the term douchebag become so offensive and such a bad thing?
Douchebag is not offensive, for crying out loud. We've been saying that forever. I don't know why it's even supposed to be offensive. Why are people so woke these days, Rick, that you can't even say ass anymore, it seems like, without getting some sort of heat? I don't understand what's going on anymore, dude. And as far as Stephanie goes, you're in the wrestling business. You've had a lot of douchebags working around you, just saying. All right. So, again, is it a little bit of a contradiction? Probably. But you had Dana White. He was also known as a bit of a douchebag, though, to be fair. I'm a fan of Dana White, though. Don't get me wrong. I am a fan of his. And I did watch that.
He's caused plenty of his own heat out there. There is.
I mean, he slapped his wife in public, dude.
Right. Right. You know, that's plenty of reason for heat out there. Absolutely there. But, Stephanie trying to have a little bit of fun here with it, saying that she doesn't want those that are very weak-minded that are going to be so offended by every little suggestion that goes against their agendas. Simply what she was saying here. Pop that next one, Nick, because it goes to the same way here. This one I actually had to look up to see what the hell had everybody so upset. We're talking about an NXT female wrestler. Yeah, Jasmine Nix and her boyfriend were out at a zoo, and they had some viral footage get out there of them. I believe it was on the Twix. Of the boyfriend, I'm going to say it just as it is written here, laughing at a disabled person. Okay, here's what happened. Did you see this story?
I actually haven't, man, so I'm actually intrigued by this.
I had to go look at this one to make sure that I had some ammo to counter this just asinine outrage that we're seeing here from the far left wrestling community here. They're at the zoo here. And the person they're talking of is a child, handicapped child. And I guess he started barking at the boyfriend, growling and barking.
Oof, oof.
Hey, oof. Hey, I don't care who you are, what the circumstances, that's going to make you laugh, right?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh even now, but shit.
Why? Why don't you want to? Because you're told not to?
Because I might get heat, Rick.
Why? Because somebody
far out, man.
A handicap. They're not allowed to have a sense of humor. You can't find their actions of music. It's not like you're going at them, dropping a hard R on them or something like that, or you're saying that they shouldn't be a part of society. It's a comical situation. You're enjoying the moment.
First of all, dude, there's a famous like YouTuber that's from Australia, right? And they call him Chicken Burger, okay? Because he goes around saying Chicken Burger. Chicken Burger. Guess what? He's actually retarded. And he gets heat. But he's big, dude. Everyone loves him. That's the thing. He's actually funny. He's quite funny. You'll laugh.
All right, so because he's leaning in to what life has given him.
He's not allowed to have fun, Rick. He's not allowed to have fun, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So you can't enjoy a humorous situation. Now, this is actually, we are at a point here in 2025 in society
Chicken Burger
where this is offensive.
Hey, man, I feel like retard has come back into fashion. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I just.
I'm just saying. Have you noticed? I mean, that word has been getting thrown around now like it's nothing, and it doesn't.
It's not really ever been that big into my vocabulary, but to sit there and say that everything has to be a serious moment, ever since if anybody starts barking at you, and again, I should really see the visuals here. I don't know how clear as day it was that this kid had a mental disability, was handicapped in any way. Anybody starts barking at you, your initial action is either to be terrified or probably laugh.
Dude, I'm sorry.
The kid itself might think, hey, this is funny, this is fun. I get a reaction as people. I'm getting some attention from some people here. But no, the butthurt here, or the wokest, are going to be offended by it.
Well, gruesome.
I think we got maybe one or two more there we can run through.
Yeah, I just want to say Tourette's can be funny as fuck, but I try not to laugh. But still, it's hard. That's true. I'm just being honest, all right? It's sad, but god damn it. Let the dogs out, as JT and Cooper says in the chat. I mean, if you got to let the dogs out and they need to bark, I mean, bark by all means.
Yeah, let the dog out. Grab them cakes.
Woof. But I just want to say one more thing about that. Look, man, they can have you seen the new trend now, Rick? There's Down syndrome females on OnlyFans now.
Okay. If there's people willing to
I'm not kidding.
And these girls are out there to make the money, good for them.
I've seen, not that I went out of my way.
This is a classic case of an overreaction from an oversensitive portion of our society. There's, again, those extreme leaning leftists. This ties into professional wrestling because Hornswoggle. Now, hold on a minute. I don't need that back.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Hornswoggle, this goes back a couple of years ago. Hornswoggle was one of those that called this woke bunch out on this BS. It was during a Snow White movie. And because of the liberal agenda, they cast the dwarfs as like average sized people. So Hornswoggle, who is part of the Actors Guild out there, who has other little people, midgets, whatever the case might be there, that are looking for acting jobs, they lost out on those parts because the studios were so afraid, because they had people yelling on it, oh, that's going to be too offensive to them.
You know what? How about this? Shut the fuck up, all of yous, man. Seriously. I said it. Yeah, fuck me.
Give me it back, because I think there's just maybe one or two to hit on, and then we'll get on with the give me here. Yeah, that was pretty much it. So you're talking about the 35% drop in viewership when it should be at its highest, and something about India. The hell with all that right now. All of these other points that these people are crying about, absolute BS. Put it to sleep. But at the end of the day, and this, I think a lot of this is exactly why Triple H takes that cheap shot and says, we're not really taking what you're saying seriously. You're not coming with anything constructive as a fan base online. So why should we care? Why should we listen? Why should we listen to you? And it's BS, like the list that we just ran through, and going round and round. It'd be the Twix. It would be different groups on Instagram, on Facebook here. These idiots that are getting riled up and offended and keep posting material like this, they're the reasons that those inside the business don't take that feedback seriously.
Chris says, midgets have always been funny, Jimmy T and RBV. God damn it. Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself had an obsession with midgets. Just saying. I mean, it was a staple in pro wrestling back in the 80s especially. And what about the Micro Wrestling League that was actually outrating AEW? I'm not kidding. It actually was.
Absolutely. They still do. Their head trainer, their head agent, their talent handler, Cody Hawk, has trained countless individuals right here in Cincinnati.
Wow.
He is a cult icon. He is an indie icon. He's in Cauliflower Alley Club as a trainer. He ran his school here. He was part of the Heartland Wrestling. Actually is responsible for training the likes of, you're going to be seeing him this weekend, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
He trained John Moxley, Sammy Callahan, just a few that he has had a hand in, who helps run the Micro Wrestling Federation right now. That's just, and believe me, I've worked a couple of their shows doing as they come through. We had the food trucks deal for those. They are packed.
Really?
It is insane the crowds that they pull for those things.
Yeah, I know. It actually trips me out when I see that, dude. You know what I mean? So, hey, there's a market for these guys and girls, of course. So, again, shut up. Let them do what they want to do. Even if they're friggin' slow, Down syndrome or full-blown retarded, right? Just let them have fun. Let them do what they want, man, and stop. Everybody has to criticize everything, man. If they want to bark like dogs, they can bark like fucking dogs.
One of my favorites from Shane Gillis. You know what Down syndrome people love, right? Unanimously across the board, what people with Down syndrome love. There's two things.
What's that?
They love titties and John Cena.
And chicken burgers. I'm just saying. Man, check out Chicken Burger. Type it in Facebook even. You'll know what I'm talking about. Top guy. Anyway. All right.
Well, chicken and burgers tonight for WrestleMania. But Jimmy, let's switch gears back to the positives of the weekend. We kind of teased it there at the top of the record. We'll just go ahead and deep dive into it. You watched the entire thing. I got the highlights. It didn't air until 1 a.m.
1 a.m. it started for you guys.
In the States. I actually
Holy shit.
I was trying to go to sleep, and I rolled over, and it was like, damn, it's 1 a.m. Should I turn it on? But I knew I had to get some sleep. So I got up this morning, caught what I needed from it. You took the entire thing in. It's always one of the big highlights of WrestleMania, that nostalgia, just that nostalgia, the energy, that vibe, especially for those older fans. Of course, we are talking about the Hall of Fame. Talk about Hall of Fame members of the HMG, the Hammer in the house, man.
He's in the house. It's Hammer time. Thank you for joining us, Charles.
Overall, man, you took in the entire thing. What'd you think of the Hall of Fame as a whole?
Surprisingly, I did take in the whole thing, man. I don't think I've done that in many years, dude. But I watched everything from the beginning.
I wonder how many of those Louisville ladies used to say that about the Hammer. Like, the whole thing.
The hammer, May. They don't call him the Hammer for nothing. I'm just saying he can drill. Literally, I'm not talking about rap. I'm talking about drilling. But anyway, in saying that, no, it was a great show. But I just want to point out, a lot of these guys and girls were kind of drunk, bro. And they were making a fool of themselves to the point where poor old Paul Rosenberg and Jackie Redmond, who were hosting the gala per se, man, they were just like, oh, this is a wreck. Like, so many times, even Saxton, dude, he was saying it. Like, it was so weird, but funny. You know what I mean? Like, but don't talk to the guys that are pretty wasted, because Jey Uso, for example, looked like an idiot, especially in my opinion. You know what I mean? And
right, so these are like the talents coming in, like the red carpet. They're all
right. It was exactly, dude. This was the most red carpet Hall of Fame ever.
In Vegas, you're having a good time. So was it probably people that were benched that were kind of having a better time, or is it people that were looking forward to seeing tonight?
No, I think all across the board, dude. Like, everyone was just, it seemed like they were happy. A lot of them were pretty wasted, including a couple of females. I mean, even, they acknowledged, for example, Tiffy and Kaiser. They both came in together as a couple. I know most of us know that they're together, but the casual wrestling fan that watches week in, week out actually wouldn't have a clue. But to say that these two absolutely adore each other is an understatement, dude. I mean, they were just goo-goo eyes for each other. And, that was pretty good. Logan Paul was off his face, by the way, Gross. That is true. He was off his face. He looked like a clown, to the point where even Saxon was like, this is weird. Like, he keeps saying, this is odd. Just go away, basically. Like, just piss off, man. Everyone was pretty drunk, dude, except for, a few people. And I'll point out to AJ Styles, obviously, he was pretty straight. But everyone was having a good time, and a lot of the guys and girls couldn't wait for Triple H to finish and went home, dude, including Michael PSAs, who made his way home and didn't even stay for Triple H's speech because it was that long. And also, even apparently Shawn Michaels fell asleep in the back. Poor guy has to do, NXT in the morning, and these guys are out there till friggin' 4 a.m. What the hell's wrong with these guys, man? But it was good.
Parting away. So let's run down the class here real quick. You share some thoughts about their speeches, but more so maybe some of the memories that we have of them. Chat, weigh in with some of your thoughts as we quickly run these down here. Let's start with the legacy class for 2025. We had the big man, the Ugandan giant there, Kamala, Dory Funk Sr., and Ivan Koloff. What's thoughts on the legacy class here, buddy?
Yeah, they didn't even give him any attention really, except for maybe Ivan Koloff, and even that was very minimal. Kamala, they just kind of introduced his wife, and that's it. I mean, and the same with Koloff, but at least they had a little package more so for Koloff. They did with Kamala, but it just didn't feel important. To be honest, that legacy win,
where they
didn't really give a shit.
They grouped them all together here, and obviously, for our age group, and when you look at the Hall of Fame, it is that nostalgia effect. Kamala, man, he was one of those first just dominating, just absolutely terrifying big men that our age would remember.
And Kimchi as well.
Yeah, I mean, this guy was so wild, out of control. He
used to rub his stomach. Oh, no.
He didn't have a manager. He had a handler. The one individual on the planet that could control him. I think it's
what was he, like a safari freaking handler? Kimchi?
Yeah. This is,
literally
an African, that would go out to the deepest, darkest jungles, and he recruited and found him here. I think the backstory with Kamala is so hilarious in itself. Sugar Bear. If you ever actually had heard the man himself in some shoot interviews, if you haven't, go out of your way. Find those. He's got some great stories, so entertaining, so informative about especially the territory days and being an African American, being a black wrestler then. But they came up with this. I believe it was Jerry Lawler who came up with the idea, and those original vignettes from down in the territories when they shot those were at Jeff Jarrett's dad's property that they shot all those. So it just, as a kid, it was making his way to that big stage of WWE.
Scary, dude.
Come on, man. It was terrifying. Dory Funk Sr., of course, beginning the legacy for the Funks, the guy that popularized the Texas Death Match, just a hard-nosed son of a bitch turned promoter that did so much. And for Koloff, him and Bruno, they were trailblazers. And
absolutely.
Where that they went there. What Bruno said in his remembering of Koloff, they wrestled, I think he said 60, 70, 80 times. They always had magic together. And with Koloff too, he perfectly played into that foreign invader heel that was so hot for the times.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, shit. And his offshoot brother, Nikita, who was more big in NWA, WCW. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Nikita Koloff. But Ivan Koloff, absolute legend, dude. I know it was before really my time. You know what I mean? But I know all about him, of course. And
well,
Kamala,
it really set the table for the Russians that we would come to know in the 80s and early 90s when we started really falling in love with it.
No, absolutely, dude. Absolutely, man. I mean, later on we had what's his name? What in the 80s, dude? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, there were so many of them.
I know, but I've gone blank.
NWA and for the WWF.
I'll get back to you on that, man. This happens to me. It's in my head. I know who it is. It's just
when it pops back in there, we'll revisit it there. We also got a new, I guess, department branch of the WWE Hall of Fame.
The legacy one?
No, not the legacy. We had
not the legacy. The match, the immortal one.
The immortal moment. And this is the first inductee there. So we get a match, and that is the no disqualification submission match that had Ken Shamrock as a special guest referee. Of course, it is Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. WrestleMania 13, highly regarded as the greatest WrestleMania match of all time. The double turn, so many even credit it is what ignited, what lit the fuse, no pun intended there, for the Attitude Era. It was fun to see these guys up there, sharing their memories of each other and the match.
Oh, definitely. The only sad part about that was Punk opened up and, he straight away was bitching sarcastically how he's only got 2 minutes to talk about Stone Cold and Bret Hart when he could sit here and talk for 5 hours. It's kind of a little awkward also at first. But then Bret and Stone Cold came out. Bret just did a quick sort of talk because he said he only had 2 minutes. But Austin just went along and just started blabbing. He was probably one of the best ones so far on the night because everyone else beforehand was either kind of drunk, except for the natural disasters. Obviously, we'll get to that anyway.
Well, real quick, we were over with Ryan here because JB shared a comment over there that popped me, and we're talking about Kamala there saying, this is JB saying, I saw a shoot. I was shocked. Kamala was a Southern dude. I legit thought he was African, and he told a story where he wrestled Andre and had a gun in his tights in case Andre tried some shit. He's
a gangster, man.
that just reinforces what I said earlier. Go out of your way to find some shoot interviews with Kamala with Sugar Bear, man. He is a great storyteller, entertaining all the way around. But yeah, it's cool with the immortal moments that are going into the hall. At first, I was indifferent. I didn't really know how, if it was a good idea. I think this is a better concept if we physically get a Hall of Fame. I think with the interactive displays, things like that, activities that you could have going on, very, very cool. I'm on board with this thing. And I like that it's immortal moments and not just matches.
No.
Because pro wrestling, it's at its best when it's about moments.
Especially when it comes to WrestleMania. And you know what the next one's going to be automatically. The next one of that, sort of thing that goes into the Hall of Fame is definitely going to be Hogan Rock. I could just see it. Because
I'm wondering if they're trying to stay away from the Hogan stuff right now.
Dude, did you see what happened later on? On the McAfee show?
On Pat Mac, I didn't see him.
I don't know if it was McAfee show, but it was very WWE-esque, okay, right? It was I think it was right before the Hall of Fame. So after SmackDown finished, it was right before Hall of Fame. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were literally hosting, right?
Oh, and, I saw some clips of that. Yeah, it was like just a
Hulk Hogan.
I don't think it was the Pat Mac show.
I don't know what it was, dude, but Hulk Hogan comes out.
Yeah, they had the Hogan out there, yeah.
But it was a parody. Obviously, it wasn't Hulk Hogan, but he just starts going, shut the fuck up, you marks. Like that. You dare boo me. Like, I'm like, oh my God, they didn't do that shit.
Hey, that would be a fun conversation, especially to have with my good bud John Paz over on the 10 count of the 2-man power trip. Such a tremendous historian, but maybe to have that conversation, debate the top 10 immortal moments in WWE history. That would be an interesting conversation. But Rock, Hogan, big time. But above that, I would have to put the body slam Hogan and Andre for a moment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They maybe should have started with that actually first.
Again, I thought maybe that's what would have been the first. But again, staying away from Hogan in the heat that comes with him right now.
They got to grow some. Well, then why do that little parody even?
Well, because there you're making fun of him, and and it's not the Hogan heat isn't just coming from the left here. He's catching it from all over.
Oh no, from both sides.
It's
more the liberal states though that they really shit on him though. To be fair. But it is coming from both sides.
It is. It's more the liberal that you hear the more of that are focused on it, because the right just tends to not really care about a whole lot of things. They'll just miss it and appreciate the memories. But yes, we had the immortal moment. We had the legacy class. Let's get to the actual class here, I guess. You had mentioned them. I know so much praise from the fans that have watched this thing looking online. But we had the Natural Disasters, again, one-time WWF Tag Team Champions. What a great group. Yeah, Mr. John.
I loved them, dude. Oh, yes.
Mr. John Tenda, Fred Ottman. The pairing of these two was absolutely magic. But even individually, these guys gave so much to the business, to the world of professional wrestling.
Absolutely. And, of course, also known as Typhoon, but most famously, the Shockmaster.
I'd say that's another thing, man. When you look at Fred Ottman.
And Tugboat also, by the way.
The personas that he had here.
Jesus Christ. Hey, he was over as Tugboat with me, just quietly.
Hulk Hogan's new
how cool is that
friend.
thing, too? Yeah, absolutely.
He came in. So he had... Just the known names here. He had Shockmaster, the super Shockmaster, Tugboat Thomas, Tugboat Tyler, Typhoon, and he had a number of other names that he used throughout his career. it genuinely seems to be one of the nicest,
Oh,
softest
absolutely.
souls, big hearted guys that you're going to see in professional wrestling.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, his son is the bell guy, and has been for many years in WWE.
And let's, we're talking about the personas there for Typhoon, but Tenta had quite a few himself throughout the years.
Absolute legend, dude.
Earthquake,
yeah, Avalanche,
Gargoyle,
the Shark.
Yes.
That was the worst. He was a sumo wrestler as well. One of the great sumo wrestlers, even in Japan. That's where he made his name. But he was a tough son of a bitch, dude. But one of the nicest guys around in the world of professional wrestling. Heck, he was even Gorga in the Attitude Era for what's it called?
Yes. For the Oddities.
The Oddities. That's it. There we go. Which is crazy. Yeah, we used to come out with the mask and the Cartman plush toy. I mean, he's done it all, man. I think he's very underrated. Even like Tugboat and whatever gimmicks you want to say was very underrated. But John Tenta, Earthquake, dude, I remember when he first came onto the scene and he straight away went after Hogan as well in WWF. I'm talking about.
Well, no, he didn't go right at Hogan here, if you remember, because I clearly remember this here. Growing up, I was one of those the extreme little warriors, and it was Tenta who was pulled out of the audience so that Ultimate Warrior could do some push-ups with a large fan on his back, and they ended up attacking the Warrior, and it absolutely devastated.
And he was under the Canadian Earthquake first during that time, as a matter of fact. No, that was good times, man. But the match that really sticks out for me with John Tenta as Earthquake was SummerSlam 1990, which, believe it or not, is one of my favorite pay-per-views. I don't know why, but I really look at that. And that's also the main event of Ultimate Warrior against Ravishing Rick Rude in the cage for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship at the time. It was a double main event. And, of course, Hogan versus Earthquake. And, man, that match, I still enjoy it to this day, even though it's probably not really that good. But for nostalgia reasons, for me, I just really loved and enjoyed that pay-per-view back then, man. I'm not sure why.
Anytime that Warrior and Rude hooked up, it was good for me. Rude, one of the villains that I absolutely just despised at the time. And, again, just a huge Warrior fan as a kid. Let's talk about the individual inductees into the Hall of Fame 2025 class here. But let's start it off. Very emotional moment, a true tearjerker. First and foremost, inducted by Diamond Dallas Page, one of love him or hate him, better or worse, man, the guy can promote. And of course, he inducts. What the total package here, Lex Luger,
the narcissist as well. The Lex Express, yes, Lex Luger.
The Lex Express, man, to me, one of the biggest swings and misses, dropping the ball, if you will, in professional wrestling.
You think all across the board, including it's obvious in WWF they really dropped the ball, I think, with him. But in WCW, as decorated as he was and as hyped as he was, do you think they could have done better?
I've listened to the conversations from those that were there that they weren't as hot backstage on Lex. They didn't believe it.
That's true.
I don't care. I don't buy into any of that. I think it was some political BS. Living in that moment, being so just intensified at my fandom of professional wrestling, man. When Luger came out on July 4th and body slammed Yokozuna for all of America, what a feeling that was. I mean, true patriotism that hadn't been felt in a while. That surge came right back into the WWF, man. It was so wild, so intense. And then, you have that moment, everything with the Lex Express. They were proud in wrestling of the red, white, and blue again. And to have him win by count out at SummerSlam,
silly, bro. They fucked him up.
Everything was dead in the water right then.
They screwed him, man. And you know what? They say he was a rat by the way he jumped over to WCW and he had a handshake agreement with Vince McMahon. Sorry, Vince, but the way you did him wrong during that time, I don't blame him for doing that.
Well, at that point, it is a job to him. It is the business, so he's going to go where that money's at. But at that point, they said they had lost faith in him. Well, yeah, because you booked him out of that position. There was nowhere for him to go at that point. So then he ends up, working tag teams with Tatanka. Tatanka turns on him there.
British Bulldog.
I think, they did the Allies, the
Allied Powers, they were called, or some shit like that.
So he's floating around in these tag teams. Why not jump back to WCW where you can get that shot in the arm, potentially as a singles, but more importantly, this is when WCW is introducing guaranteed contracts for big time money. They were
the first to do that. Yeah, absolutely. They changed the game.
And of course, this might have been long overdue. Lex was so prominent in the eras that he wrestled in for whatever company it might be. But of course, he had those ties to the passing of Miss Elizabeth.
Yeah, he didn't bring that up, by the way.
Well, why would you? This is supposed to be like a positive, happy time here. But finally getting his nod, getting his spot, Lex Luger. Jimmy T, how about this one here? She was the first Divas champion, the only one to ever hold the women's and Divas simultaneously. The wife of The Undertaker, Michelle McCool, makes her way in. I heard Taker's speech. I heard her speech.
God damn.
Is this still one of those head scratchers to you that she's in? Or do you have any truly great fond memories of Michelle McCool?
Boy, did they put over McCool like it was the best thing since sliced bread during that speech. That's all I'm saying. I didn't mind them, but come on, let's be honest. But in saying that, look, man, this is nepotism, even though she's not the daughter of friggin' The Undertaker, but because she's married to him, she's getting in there. She's, in my opinion, she's really not Hall of Fame worthy for me.
I think
that's just me.
It's few and far between that there's someone that goes in that I can't make a decent case for. It just my sales side, my media marketing side. This one is a little tough. I think one of the biggest memories of Michelle McCool is just them calling Mickey James Piggy James.
Oh God, that was the worst friggin' thing at the time, dude.
Why?
Because it was dumb. It was childish. It was stupid.
She
wasn't even a fat.
That's with it, and it shows. If you take that as a learning experience there, if they would have leaned into that, stuck with it instead of bailing on it, as a true story. Now, behind the scenes, this was just them ribbing Mickey. They were just going at her. They were
right at the time, at the actual time, there was the dirt sheets during that time was saying how Vince thinks that Mickey James is fat. And this is before the Piggy James thing started.
Thinking there, yeah, and she had some heat backstage. They were ribbing her there, but there could have been a great learning lesson there. Even though you're criticizing somebody, you're body shaming someone that not necessarily needs to be there. There could have been a great lesson for the young fans, but unfortunately, it was all a big rib backstage. I do want to backpedal here. Cold Bloody with a great point, man. He's saying when he was a kid, he hated Lex Luger to WWF. Didn't start liking him until he started going against the NWO. You talk about one of those major Nitro moments. We talked about it a little bit yesterday on
when he beat Hogan.
Where are those AEW, those just impactful moments that we're always going to remember? Going back to Nitro, man, when he tapped out Hogan, man,
at the Georgia Dome, wasn't it? If I remember correctly,
absolutely insane.
Dude,
wasn't there? I remember. I just remember where I was. I was over in the basement of my friend Josh Drunk's
house.
Yeah,
me too. I was at my friend's house. I remember
like
clearly.
About 12 of us. We got together for a wrestling party on a Monday.
Yeah, the Nitro parties.
This was it. We usually did the pay-per-views, but this was a special occasion. We all had to get together for this one, man. And like everybody's heads hit the ceiling.
It was a big deal, dude.
So crazy that he had tapped out Hogan, that he had taken the belt. I still remember the celebration in the ring. We're partying. Man, what a moment for
WCW.
That will live on forever.
Oh, dude, I remember it like it was yesterday. As a matter of fact, That was during the time where I believe Nitro went 3 hours even during that time for a short while, if you remember.
I don't remember any of that. I just remember absolutely going berserk, losing it when WCW finally got one back over the end.
Do you know what pissed me off though about that? He lost it the week later though, which is absolutely silly, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, there was the pay-per-view of that upcoming Sunday, so it was like 6 days, and he dropped it back.
Unbelievable, man.
Who cares?
Oh, well, there you go. Bruce just said it too.
It was about the moment. And
it's still remembered fondly. But when you think about it, I remember everyone was up in hoopla, should I say, over him dropping it the week after, and we went straight back to Hollywood, Hulk Hogan. I will say I was NWO for life, though, dude. Still am. It's for life. That's it. I love the NWO, dude. I'm still fond of the NWO.
One channel had the NWO leading the way. The other had a little group known as DX.
Good segue. Very good segue.
As DX, and he started as the second in charge, found his way reinventing the group and taking the reins and leading them into the Attitude Era and beyond. Triple H, this year's headliner for the 2025 Hall of Fame class. As you said, this went long. Shawn Michaels delivering a big-time speech. Triple H following that up himself. A lot of questions here. I'm going to let you kind of break down the speech itself, and then we'll talk about our feelings about Triple H, Shawn Michaels, DX, and the meaning behind this induction. But break down what we actually got there, Jimmy, last night.
Well, Shawn Michaels absolutely hit his speech about Triple H right out the park, dude. Seriously, he really did. He was, he was crying quite a bit during the actual speech. Dude, he was just talking about how, he was a pain in the backside, obviously, as we all know. But Triple H always stood by him no matter what, even through thick and thin. He also addressed how, and I remember hearing about this through the dirt sheets, but funny enough, it seems to be true. But both their wives, for a moment, and I'm talking about Stephanie and Shawn Michaels' wife, thought legitimately that they were fucking each other. That they were literally fucking each other, dude. And Shawn was like, no, we weren't. I've only ever kissed him on the lips once, blah, blah, blah. It was kind of funny. It was a great moment, but everyone laughed. Stephanie looked like she got embarrassed a little bit. I just also want to point out, though, the little package for Triple H with Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, dude, was something else, bro. That was so well done. I mean, I couldn't praise that any more than that's probably the best absolute.
They got one of the finest production teams in the world.
Dude, they really hit it at the park. You just felt for him, dude. And anyway, he kept going, telling stories as per usual, talking about DX and whatnot. And then he introduces his friend. Dude, the way they hugged, they wouldn't let go of each other. But what made it even better, Triple H kissed him on the lips before he went on to talk. And he's like, Shawn Michaels like pointing to Stephanie. See? It was a pretty cool moment, man. It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. I personally think Triple H absolutely deserves it. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, I was criticizing what he was saying.
Pause that for a second there, because I do want to get into that conversation. I love how you laid it out there. I'm gonna check out the actual. You
got it, dude. Anyone that hasn't seen it, go check it out.
I do. JB, we were talking about Michelle McCool. If you flash that up.
Oh boy, JB, you're getting heat with me, pal.
McCool deserves to be in. She's a former champ, won the Diva Search. That's pretty cool. She was the Diva Search winner.
And
the first Divas champ, which that's kind of cool. You look at the resume. Here's what I don't like. So now you got to kind of point fingers.
Don't compare it to Coco Beware, bro. Just saying.
Is in. Everyone is open. I completely disagree with that. Coco is one of those individuals I can make a strong argument for.
Absolutely. I disagree with it strongly.
It's because professional wrestling, for what it is, it's not going to be like every.
It's not about your resume, really.
Hall of Fame. It's not about what matches or titles were decided to be given to you.
Thank you.
It's about your impact on the business. And going back from just working the territories to the ground, that the breakthrough moments for Beware, for African Americans, to the just love and admiration you'll hear from everybody, every territory that he worked.
Everybody, dude.
You get when he makes it to the big time with WWF, how beloved
And Frankie.
he is by the fans, the involvement of Frankie, what he did for them in crossover with Pal Driver inside of
fuck,
itself,
is the style of that, dude.
makes him
you kidding?
worthy of the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
That is a difference. So when you're trying to set up a measuring stick about getting people in, Coco Beware is not the dude to start with.
Oh, man, I agree with you 100%. I don't know, JB, how you even compared that to Coco Beware, but Frankie alone, man, deserves even the Hall of Fame. Like, I'm just saying. There you go. I think Frankie.
There you might have something, Jimmy T. We've got we got the individuals, we've got the groups, we've got the immortal moments.
We need an animal section.
We've got the celebrity. We need this, man. It's brought to you by the SPCA or whatever the case might be. Let's get a sponsor with this thing and have an animal win. Hey,
WWF can make a comeback.
Hey, we could get another 2-time Hall of Famer, George the Animal. And you get JB out of here.
Absolutely.
Get JB out of here with that.
Yeah, get the hell out of here, JB.
Comment, man.
What the fuck was that shit?
Thanks for joining us, JB. Again, JB, man, if you got any hot tips on some bets for the weekend, drop them in the chat, man. We'll talk about here. But all right.
Need some cash.
Jimmy, you said, going back to what you said, Triple H, very deserving. Yes, he has earned a spot like that, but I started thinking about this. We had a lot of fun on the road to WrestleMania. There was everybody kind of noticed this, but like it was almost like he was the only individual going in every week, every show.
That's true.
Multiple times we had that vignette package of people putting him over, all his big time entrances at WrestleMania. One of the things. Okay, so yes, he has earned that. Very deserving of it. Real quick though. You never hear Triple H's name mentioned when we're talking top 10 all-time greats or even top 20, really.
Is that fair, dude? Is that fair? You know what? Let's be real, man. As a heel, you can make the argument he could be top 10.
I would right now. I don't. Just coming off the edge of my seat here, I don't know where I would put him. I would really have to sit.
He's got to be top 15, dude. Come on.
And I am
look at the impact he's made.
I'm not hung up on how his work rate and moveset. I am one of those
fuck that.
Who created moments, who drove business.
You can make arguments with Triple H.
Guys that were game changers.
Evolution.
I think he's on the borderline of that.
Come on, man.
Now, when we're talking,
I think we're being biased. We're just shitting on him because everyone just thinks of him with Stephanie. Come on.
No, I'm not going to hate on somebody for having an opportunity.
I know, neither would I. But I feel like he gets that sort of heat because of that.
Here played that game. Now, if we're talking about greats,
he fucking did play the game.
We're talking about greats. He's going to be an argument for one of the all-time greats when it comes to playing the game itself again. The politics.
The best. There's no one better, dude. I'm sorry, there really isn't. Think about it.
I mean, he is.
Hogan's up there too, but
Hogan would be up there.
Absolutely. Shawn Michaels.
It might be between Hogan and Triple H.
And Trips, definitely. And then Michaels third.
Yeah, but Triple H got his way into the family. He is now running the talent side, the talent and creative side of WWE. Let me ask you this though. Again, earned it, deserving, whatever the case. Why now? Why couldn't you? Why not someone maybe like The Rock? I mean, there's so many others. Batista still hasn't officially had his yet, has he? Or was that last year? I missed that.
No, he wasn't last year or the year before. I'm pretty sure.
I knew it was supposed to go in during the pandemic. All right, but that's not didn't really have anything to do with the point here. Why now?
I think because he's definitely retired and is not going to have another match ever again. I personally think also
he's so heavily involved with the company. He is.
That's
he
true.
Was a guy
that's
that
different.
he was doing the most for the press row.
Absolutely.
He is everywhere. When we seen them going to Netflix, it was almost like he was the focal point. He's not a character on the television programming.
No. He's Paul now. He's Paul Levesque now. Actually, as a matter of fact, he's Jean-Paul Levesque. That's his full name. But I want to also say, look, man, he even done a parting shot at the end of the speech, right? I don't want to you guys go and check it out. Believe me, it's worth it. But I didn't know this about him. His sister also had the same heart condition, and she went through the same thing. He was also in the crowd. So it's obviously genetic related, even though they did say that. So I just wanted to point that out. He came up, some of the click stories that he mentioned was absolutely hilarious. Just that alone is absolutely good. But what he said about his daughters was the best thing for me, bro. And he's dropping F-bombs left and right, by the way. But when he mentioned about his youngest daughter, especially, the second he mentioned her name, everyone laughed, dude. So she must have been cheeky already. But he says this, he goes that his youngest daughter is 14 going on to 40, and she's already been divorced twice. So her personality must be pretty fucking funny, dude. Everyone's laughing. So you just check it out, man. But it was a nice speech, dude. He thanked everyone. Like even WCW thanked Bischoff. Bischoff was there because of him. He thanked absolutely everybody.
Did he thank Strangler Steve?
Unfortunately, he didn't. But who he did thank, he brought up China, dude. Joni Laura, RIP to her, which was great of him because I didn't expect him to do that. But he also brought up Vince at the end. And, of course, he thanked Nick Khan pretty much as the last person, even over his own wife, which is odd.
I could be completely off mark here. But a lot of this, especially because I did listen to Shawn Michaels, I still need to go back and listen to Triple H's himself. But the attention that was given to him going in here, headlining why he is still very, very active, which isn't completely strange to have active people going in. But
look at Rey Mysterio, dude.
I know, but Rey Mysterio isn't running the company.
No, but he's full-time active in the ring.
They're completely different to me. This is Triple H, who's one of the tops of the company, taking one of those top spots for this praise, a celebration for him. Very, very strange to me. In so many ways, this came off as almost as a
Mark Todd for himself.
Trying to be a reminder to the new powers that be, to the new board,
that he's going nowhere.
Company, that and a resume that he is so important to the success of this business.
Absolutely, bro.
This was almost like a cry to protect his ass.
Oh, fuck yeah. I said that too, man. I was saying that to myself. That's exactly, especially by the way he thanked Khan. That was the first thing that went into my mind, bro. Is that he's probably thinking the way he's thanking him just so he's on the right side of things. You know what I'm saying with Nick Khan? And he'll be the one that protects him because he's the liaison pretty much between WWE's personnel and TKO and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? He's the guy that takes care of all of that.
Watching that, I started just asking myself, like, why? Why are they doing this now? And is there other motives? Is he trying to protect and cover his ass for future movements here with the company going forward?
Look, I do personally think he didn't book himself to be in the Hall of Fame. I truly believe Shawn Michaels and Undertaker and Nick Khan surprised him. I do believe that.
You still turn that down. You can still say no. Veto that yourself.
And I think he said no for years, I personally think, because he knows the type of attention and everyone's saying.
To me, there's something deeper there. It is a conspiracy that I'm absolutely planning on getting to the bottom with this Monday with the conspiracy king himself over in the Monday Locker Room. Ben Hameen. Gross is right up there. That Triple H exhibit, that wax figure at the head was sickening, man. You talk about something out of a horror film.
Nah, it looked good, man. It looked like him. It's just because he's in. What? It looked like him, dude. The younger version of him. He was maybe a little too muscly, but trust me.
It looked like they went straight to Charlotte Flair's plastic surgeon and put that.
No. Trust me. Look at it properly. Believe me, it's not as bad as you think. But I will say this to everybody. Triple H, even though he's sickening, I can't believe you're saying that. Jeff Jarrett is up there also, gross, absolutely, in terms of politics. But for me, I don't want to say conspiracy. Look, man, I love our Ayatollah bin Amin. Obviously, he's our boss. He's our leader. But I've also disagreed with him. I've always disagreed with him about, and of course, our other boss, Vince Russo, just pointing it out there. But I've always disagreed with the both of them about him. He's going to get kicked out of the company by next year and one. I truly don't believe it. And they also like to say that him and Stephanie aren't in love. Trust me, they're madly in love with each other. If you see their interactions, I don't know where they get that part from. I just want to say I don't agree with that. I'm just saying, I mean, there's not enough evidence to really say he's going to get kicked out. He's not going anywhere, dude. And if it is a conspiracy, whatever, man. He's playing the game. He's the game, right? He knows how to play it. Pun intended, because he really does. But the way he ended it, though, before we move on to actually SmackDown, come on, lad, Brad. I don't see, we got a lot of hate of Triple H haters. He did say, look at me now. Everyone thought that I just freaking hooked up with Stephanie McMahon, just a banger pretty much. He said some sort of fucking swear word about it. He goes, well, look at me, 20 years later, and I'm still committed. So what now? Like, you know, I just slept with her to get to where I am. He's basically telling everyone to get fucked.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm not one of those that buy into. You know, it was just a political move. There was something there, but hey,
you ain't going anywhere, man.
If you're gonna get married, if you're gonna get married into the business, do it to the boss's wife.
He's married to the game. All right, there you go. But yeah, the $1 billion princess. Look, man, are you telling me all of you didn't think Stephanie was hot back in the day? Come on, let's be real.
All right, Jimmy, let's get on the home stretch here. You kind of said talking SmackDown. Not a whole lot to take from the event itself. Real quick, we did have, it is, again, sort of SmackDown becoming the pre-show for the WrestleMania weekend. Three things very unique here. If you want to hit on them here, we had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Carmelo Hayes going over in that. We have the Women's U.S. Champion, Chelsea Green, one of the best acts going with her and the Secret Hervis. They get beat by Selena Vega, clean pin, so we could have a
that was weird, dude.
Title match coming up on that. And we did have the tag match, which gets thrown out. And
again,
I guess
pointless.
The biggest surprise here, and it confused a lot of people online, is you have DIY taking the titles. They get caught backstage. Everybody's kind of involved.
Like little leprechauns, bro.
We get an announcement, though, that it's going to be a ladder match.
TLC
for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Not at Mania, but next Friday.
I'm cool with that, but they could have made a moment.
It actually makes sense to me. I know a lot of people, why wouldn't you do this at WrestleMania? We already have that set card there. You still got to look at these shows and give purpose and meaning going forward with it. This tag division, we've been talking about it right here on Smack Attack since I've joined you. So since pretty much Super Bowl, about how much of a disaster, a letdown this division was. We both agreed on this. The champ's been agreeing with us for the most part. Not very worthy of a WrestleMania spot, and simply put in a TLC, to me, doesn't justify that. What this also says is they need something to keep people hanging on post Mania. The Raw after is nowhere near what it used to be. We talked about yesterday the dismal ticket sales for that. You know, midweek there was still like 9,000 left.
That's odd though.
I'm sure they're giving those away like crazy.
Yeah, it will sell out because SmackDown had 17,000, man. That was a sellout. So I'm sure Raw will sell out though.
I know, but you have people built in. They were arriving for that Friday. It is so much cheaper to get the hell out of Vegas Sunday night and Monday morning than to stay that extra day. You know, because it's not like you're gonna leave Raw and head right to the airport. That's another night of lodging. That's another day of food. That's another day of tickets. Another day of transit. People are getting the hell out of there, and I don't know where that SmackDown is, but they want to make sure that they're coming out with a bang for the buck that Friday night.
Oh, definitely, man. Hey, well, I just want to welcome, obviously, our very own Kenny fucking Powers saying, hi, Jimmy T and RBV. That Hall of Fame was brutal. Brett Punk and Austin got 2 minutes each, but that airhead McCool went on and on. The more I see of Mark instead of Taker, he loses the aura. You're right, and he doesn't want to be Taker anymore. That's the thing.
I'm one of those. Let's let Taker go. A lot of my argument, though, against Triple H saying that the legends on the pods, that they're doing a disservice, that they should, in a sense, be quiet, talking about exposing the business. Undertaker gave his dues. Undertaker made his eras. Was so magnificent in what he did. Let's let the Undertaker rest in peace. This is Mark getting out there, living his life now. He loved professional wrestling. He is sharing that with us now. He gave so much to the business. It is time for the business to give a little bit to him. That is not a free pass for people that are just starting with the company, that didn't cut their teeth, come up the way he did, or even those right now that are starting to get into business and indies to act that way. No.
Yeah, I agree.
He has earned it. It is okay now for the business to get back to individuals like Mark, the Mark, or the Undertaker, whatever the case might be.
Mark, according to Mark Calloway, just quietly.
Hey, Mark. Jimmy, real quick, getting it hyped here for night one, man. Let's run through this here. I'm going to talk about the matches. Let me know your excitement level.
Well, what'd you think of the Cody Cena promo by the way at the end?
I don't know. There was a few things in there that I popped for. Cheap inside one shot, the inside stuff. Some of it got me there. Some of it I don't.
They were booing Cody, dude. They were booing Cody. Cena won the crowd over with his promo game on SmackDown. So
yeah. So in sense inside of that, all right. So first of all, the delivery, yes, I did like the delivery. Cena's so good at what he's doing. He's even up this game. You could tell whatever he's been doing in Hollywood is certainly helping him here. But why do you want that? Why do you have him go out there and deliver so much of that to turn that crowd against your hero, against your guy?
I don't think it was meant to be that way. It happened that way. You know what I mean?
You should be smart enough inside of that to be able to understand those things, to realize that he can't go out there overthink, to drop all those insider terms, to get that so insider audience to turn against the baby face here. That's just piss poor inside of itself.
To be fair, he did recover though.
A little bit there, but
a little bit, not totally though. Let's not get it twisted, but he did recover somewhat.
They try to be too cute so many times inside themselves.
No, you're right. But in all, I enjoyed it because the interactions have been pretty intriguing for me for the most part, and this was no different. It made me look forward to the match more so than anything. So it did its job. That's all that matters. But sorry, continue on with the WrestleMania card.
Your question, and that's kind of tie into how we're going to talk about these matches here for night one. But I don't necessarily think that it did anything to up the ante.
No, it's the same old shit, really.
I'm not saying I'm not interested, but I'm not any more interested than I was before the promo.
Right. Look, to be fair, it was a lot of the same old since the beginning of the road to WrestleMania between these two. There's been nothing different other than a few extra jabs here and there between both of them. And what I mean by it got me in the mood, knowing that Mania is on tonight, that's what I mean by it got me in the mood. Otherwise, if you want to really be honest, it was the same old shit.
Well, and here's another thing, you've got that hard sell, that go home there. Was that enough? Is anyone in the area be like, oh shit, I gotta go pick me up a WrestleMania ticket, I gotta be there in the arena for this? Or is it, man, I gotta redo my schedule to watch this Easter evening? If you're going to
it's a bad day, dude.
This should have been done a few weeks
ago. A week before. Yeah, exactly. No, you're right.
It's a month ago. This is the kind of stuff that we needed on this build. That's why they're getting all this flack and catching all this.
Dude, it's Easter. What's wrong with these guys? Again, they know the schedule. They should have looked at the schedule. By doing it on the Easter weekend is very, very risky, dude.
There's a lot of logistics that go into all these things.
Right. But you're right. It should have been done a few weeks ago because generally that's when it's done.
The promo, all of this.
Oh, well, even the show. The show should have been. Well, for me, I feel like the show should have been early April like it usually is, not now, mid-April. Towards the end of April.
There's a lot of logistics that go in there we don't know, and they're looking at what they're running against. I don't know if they had issues. If there was something that UFC big had going on that they didn't want to
Maybe.
counter with, or were they worried about the NCAA March Madness?
It could be that too.
You know, if you're going to go anything, you're like, oh, we can't do Easter. Well, you can't go next week because you're against the NFL draft. There's a lot that goes into that, but that's beyond it. But no, I'm talking about this promo. This type of hype in the build should have been happening for weeks, not 2 days out before the match, moving some stuff there.
There's that too, and I forgot to mention. Thank you for bringing it up. Cold-blooded.
All right,
but we forgot to talk about
what I'm eating for Easter. There, you don't have to show this one here, but he's doing a smoked prime rib, dude. You got to share some of those pictures with me. Love smoking, love some prime rib. I'm doing chicken and ribs myself, but hit me up on social media. I want to see some pictures of that there. So what's Cold-blooded say here?
Well, about Randy Orton's mystery opponent for Mania. I guess we're going to get into it now, but
we'll get in on all those.
Right.
That's a night 2. We have a great conversation about that on the Friday Locker Room. I'm actually going to be uploading that clip when we're done here onto YouTube, so you can check that out there. I'm going to get together some kind of tomorrow, a little night 2 pre-show. We'll talk about it there. But again, we've got that content for you. But Jimmy, let's
just
talk
quietly. KO was in the crowd, no neck brace, no nothing. Apparently he had surgery. Does not look any different. I'm still sticking to what I said on the Friday Locker Room.
Jimmy is harping on this thing, so
I'm telling you.
Clip out. I've got it on my social media. If you want to check it out, it's on HMG.
Oh, you did?
Twix, and I'm going to get it up here on the YouTubes. Excuse me here, as I was pulling back up tonight's match card. But yeah, Jimmy, we are a few hours away. Stand and Deliver, getting ready to kick off right now. I'm sure they're doing their opening intro, but we're going to take a look here. Big hype for Big Fights Night 1. We're getting things going, Jimmy. I just want to know your interest level and what you're hoping to get out of this thing. Gunther, Jey Uso.
Dude, I'm not hyped. I'm not hyped at all for this match. And I'm not blaming Gunther. I'm actually blaming, I hate to say it, Jey Uso, man, because Gunther's tried. He's tried hard, dude. And it's just, Jay's not reciprocating. You know what I mean? He's just not. I think these two just don't mesh well in terms of promos. Well, but in the ring, they can go.
Matters paying off here. Yeah, this is going to be about. This is going off. Number 1, opening up all of WrestleMania.
That is confirmed.
Yes, they have announced the opening matches. Opening matches. You're going to have this one for the World Heavyweight Championship, opening night 1. The women's triple threat on night 2. We've gotten very personal in this build. We've had a lot of talk in this build. Sold a lot of merchandise in this build. But yeah, this is what it's going to come down to. This is going to be a grand spectacle. And as you said, Jey Uso, this is an opportunity to set the tone to show that you can go out there and hang with Gunther, one of the best in the world here. We've got the War Raiders taking on the New Day. A lot of people don't think this match right here is worthy of a spot at WrestleMania.
It could be a smoky because of that reason. And when I say smoky, it might actually be a lot better than we all expect it to be. But again, the interest level
kind of low, no expectations.
Yeah, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. They're going to wrestle with chip on their shoulders, and they should if they feel disrespected. But in saying that, interest level is 0. Totally.
I would say I don't really have a lot of interest in this thing. If anything, I think you might have sold some people on this thing. Low expectations, low bar. Let's give them a chance. Let's see what they can do. New Day, tenured and decorated, one of the greatest of all time. But let's check it out here. Rey Mysterio, El Grande Americano, the upstart, just been with the company a few weeks, getting opportunity to shine here on the grand stage. Jimmy, the interest, you've been following this over on I Like It Raw. You guys intensely been watching this thing. The luchador, the greatest luchador ever, the upstart Americano. Anything, though, we've had some reports, though, Mysterio carried out of the arena last night.
And looks legit, too, Rick. So I'm not sure if that match is happening now. So I don't know really what to say. But if that didn't happen, I was hyped for this match. I was actually looking forward to this match. And I'm hoping El Grande Americano does get the win. I'm truly backing him for the win, but we don't know if that match is going to happen now, so I don't know what is going to happen.
Almost
So I'm not sure.
Almost in the Orton situation, though. The suspense. We're going to see what's going to happen. You got to believe if he is able to get out there and do anything, Mysterio is going to push his way through.
100%. Even
match,
if they have to do a squash, just do it.
Look at something done with it there. A match that I know that we are both extremely high on. We've been praising the build for this thing. We're not expecting any sort of, immortal moment, possibility for a future Hall of Fame induction here. But we have really enjoyed this. We think this is going to be something that is going to really surprise people. It is Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
Dude, I love that first segment with the women on SmackDown, just quietly. That was brilliant.
Kind of playing together. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. And it does make sense with all 4 women or 5 of them, whatever it was, being, interacting in that. And it got me even more hyped. But this match could be a show stealer. And don't expect any fancy shit because it's not meant to be.
Right? This has got to be. Oh, sorry there. Go ahead, brother. Finish your thought.
No. I was just going to say, he's going to be like almost a down and dirty street type of fight. And it should be. Don't expect anything good or nice other than the women, of course. But it should be all grimy and dirty.
Yes.
And just going at it. Because that's what type of match it is. They need to be like that. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm actually can't wait to see it. Because there's going to be some sort of thing that's going to happen with that match. So I am intrigued. My intrigue level is a 10 when it comes to that matchup.
I am with you, and I liked how they played everything together. So we go back and revisit Bianca's involvement into this. We have that reminder. So again, it plants those seeds about what's in store for even Bianca. This trio bringing
everyone booed her too, dude, on SmackDown.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Cold Blooded brought up a point here. Maybe we've all been worked. What a great possibility here that maybe Rey Mysterio, maybe that was all part of the planning here. We get another Rey Fenix gets a primetime spot, a bit of a passing of the torch. One Rey can't go. He hands it to another Rey that people in conversation talk about, one day could be discussed as one of the greatest luchas of all time. Rey Fenix gets that spot. We did see the interaction with Phoenix and Americano last night.
Yeah, and I kind of liked it, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that could be.
Well, you know what?
That's a props for props is due there.
Yeah, no, definitely. If it is a work, it makes sense because they kind of teased with the interaction between Americano and Rey Fenix. So maybe this is a work. That's the thing, dude. They're working a lot of the injuries in WWE lately. That's why I'm not sure what the hell is going on with some of these people. But they are they're playing on it. I don't like that they're doing that because they shouldn't fake injuries.
I'm okay
with it. Then again, that's a new kayfabe.
I'm okay with it. I know a match that you are high on and you are more than okay with. I know you maybe one of the ones you are most looking forward to over these next 2 nights, and that is LA Knight. Yeah, defending the United States Championship against the Werewolf, your boy Jacob Fatu. If the 10 is the highest we're judging this on, Jimmy, I know you're probably at like a 25.
Well, I don't know if I would go that far, but if Fatu does not win this match, and I love LA Knight, but the momentum is all on Jacob's side, man. I'm hoping he gets the win. My intrigue level's high because of that reason. He has actually earned it, not deserve it. He's earned it in the short amount of time that he's actually been part of WWE. He is an all-rounder in terms of good in the ring, great on the mic. He can do it all. Give me Jacob Fatu, pal.
I know you're liking it. You're rooting for him. You hope to be that next step for him. It's just going to be a fun, hard-hitting match inside of itself. Looking at this, I'm not going to be surprised, though, if LA Knight retains.
I know, neither would I.
He is over on it. With that, the big question, though, is then what is next for somebody like Fatu? I would like to solo and then potentially in a backfire cost Fatu this one.
That's what's more than likely going to happen.
Well, and in a bigger picture here, then have Fatu go out there and completely dismantle Solo in a short program. Then have him turn his attentions and join a new brand and I would love to see heading into the summer is Fatu, the challenger chasing after another blood member in Jey Uso for the championship. I would love to see that be the World Heavyweight Championship program over on Raw heading into.
That'd be cool. You know what I also love to see? If he kidnaps Solo, like absolutely punishes him, like I mean, to a bloody pulp, to the point where Jay and Jimmy get involved, because at the end of the day, that is their little brother, right?
I'd keep them kind of separate, on it, but for a little bit. But you could tie. There is some ties in there. The only reason I would do it with the Solo, and actually that adds to what I was saying here. I was just looking for something him to do. I think that's a great idea, because then it's like, okay, he's working towards the other brother,
right,
and the champion. But because I think after WrestleMania, you're going to have Uso tie up, in a rematch at Backlash with Gunther. So you feel 100%. But then you work towards Fatu, Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship is a hot summer program.
Absolutely,
something that's gotten very real, and I think everybody's interest meter has spiked on this one. Tiffany Stratton set to defend the Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair. I've kind of chilled a little bit on this one over the last couple of weeks.
Interesting. Well, I'm still intrigued, actually. My intrigue level's not the highest, but I'm intrigued to see if it's going to be an absolute shipwreck of a match. Like, you know what I mean? It could either go that way, or it could be a barn burner.
Why would it go that way? I mean, Charlotte absolutely one of the best.
She's a professional
all time. She's a ring general. She's going to go out there and get the best of it.
I want to see them going at it, though, dude. I really want them to absolutely go hard, dude. Because this is another match where there's a lot of personality and animosity. I expect a gritty type of match at first, you know what I mean? And then let them work into the normal style.
Train wreck of they can't get it together. You want this thing to seem real, to be raw, to be
absolutely. Yeah, I want it to seem real. That's what I mean by a train wreck, because a real fight practically is a train wreck. And I mean that in a good way, you know what I mean? It's not realistic when they're just wrestling each other, especially if there is an animosity level between these two women, you know what I mean? But I'm cool if they built their way into a normal sort of match. Like, I could see it being very different the first part of the match, and then the match changing towards the end of the match, if that makes any sense.
Okay, I got you there. All right, so our big main event, night one, the triple threat. Who goes home with the Walrus? Roman Reigns, CM Punk, or Seth Rollins?
Man, I'm caught up between all three of them. You can make the case between all three. Is it going to be Seth? Is it going to be Punk? I'm leaning towards Seth right now, but I don't like the pick either. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I just feel like my ideal thing would be for Brock Lesnar to come back and they get back together and just takes out everyone. That'd be awesome, but it's not going to happen. But I'll lean towards Seth, kind of, going away with the Warriors possibly.
I know, there's a lot of possibilities here. This is one I don't want to.
It's hard, dude.
Predict. That's why I'm not real big on the prediction shows, things like that. I want us to be able to sit back and enjoy it, and just kind of let it play out in front of me and react to what they're actually happening here. So I'm excited for all the possibilities. And again, they have put so much into this. They're hanging it on these two main events. So we're going to see what happens here.
And like Josh says in the chat, my prediction is still Rollins and they join Hollywood Clique, help Cena win title night too. I can see that happening too. And I was saying that also yesterday on the Friday locker room, that's a possibility. There's so many ways you can go, boys and girls, just quietly. I mean, that's what's so good about this Mania. It's kind of very unpredictable, dude.
All right, there. That is our night one. We'll wrap things up here for this week's Smack Attack. Jimmy, if you want to send it home here, brother, I got to stand and deliver right now. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page out on the floor, just exchanging blows, brother.
Did it just start? Is this the first match?
This should be the opener. Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. That's I'm going to watch that too. I'm actually looking forward to that now. It's a damn weekend of wrestling galore. But I ain't saying that. Please follow us right here at Hummy Media Group's YouTube channel and like and subscribe, of course, and share that shit out there. We would really appreciate that if you did. Also, like and subscribe right here at channelattitude.com, where $5 only do you get the best but the realest talk in all of pro wrestling. And of course, for some of our affiliate shows, go check out HamimMediaGroup.podbean.com for all our affiliate shows. And of course, look out for the WrestleMania post-game review show with myself. And you're joining me too, correct, Rick? You still going to be around?
I'm going to make my absolute best shot for that, brother. It's just late here.
I know, it sucks. But let's hope it's on a 5-hour extravaganza of a show. But hopefully Rick joins me. Either way, I'll be here to review that very show, Night 1, WrestleMania 41. So look out for that right after the show finishes. And that's about it from me. So, Rick, before we go, tell them what you're doing.
The hell with it, I'll be here. I'll make the commitment here for this evening.
Good, you better, you should. Come on, Rick. Come on, pal. And also, Scotty Woodford, who's actually there on the floor. He's attended all the events. Scotty, if you're listening, I'm looking forward to hear from what you have to say about Night 1. So, yeah, until then, though, Rick, is there anything you wanted to tell anyone?
And just,
that's it.
I'm going to be uploading some things here to the YouTube channel. Keep your alerts on. And Sam, please share the content for us. That's just such a big weekend with so many people hyping, talking WrestleMania to help us grow the brand here at HMG.
Absolutely. And everyone that's joined us in the chat, thank you very much, man. And hopefully we see all you guys for the post-game show later on. Till then, we'll see you next time. Peace.